All right, so Ben Shapiro is back doing what he does best, which is goes to college campuses and acts incredibly smug and arrogant and pretends he's holier than thou and better than the kids in the audience. This is his bread and butter. So he's at some event here on the Daily Wire, and this person basically prods him like, how can you support what Israel is doing to Gaza? And this is his reaction.
As an American Jew, how can you continue to condone the actions of the Israeli government, condoned by the U.S. government, in the Gaza Strip, where over 40,000 people have died, including Palestinians and Israelis, and large numbers of children and civilians? How can you continue to condone those actions?
Okay, hold on. I want to correct you. I don't just condone the actions of the Israeli Defense Forces and the Israeli government. I celebrate and laud them. I'm not morally apathetic about what's happening.
Hey, Ben, that sounded better in the original German. Ich den von Schlagen, Flaggen, Noten. Like that, you might as well have just done the Hitler salute. And I like how he thinks it's like lay epic burn, right? Like, bro, I owned you. You think I'm against genocide. Actually, I love genocide. Bro, not only am I not against what they're doing, I support it massively, bro. Oh, bro, you went there. You love carpet bombing toddlers, bro. Man, he really owned them by being a bloodthirsty warmonger freak. Jesus Christ. So let's just be super clear up front. The bottom line is Ben Shapiro has fully and completely 100% dehumanized innocent Palestinian civilians. To him, guilty enough. If you're Palestinian, you're guilty enough. And that is absolutely implied in his reaction here. Now, if you bring that up to his face, I'm sure he would, backpedal and pretend like that's not true. But that is the 100% the complete implication of what you said here is they're all guilty enough. So in other words, even though there's 30 to 40,000 Hamas members, 2.3 million people in Gaza, he goes, the 2.3 million are just as guilty as the 30 or 40,000. That's how he feels, which is why, it's not like Ben Shapiro came out there at the beginning of the conflict and said, hey, you're doing a total siege of all of Gaza? You're cutting off food, fuel, water, electricity to 2.3 million people, even though there's only 30 or 40,000 Hamas members? That's collective punishment. We're against that, especially as somebody, he could take this road if he had a conscience, especially as somebody who's Jewish, who knows what collective punishment looks like. We're against that. When we said never again, we meant it for everybody. But no, he doesn't. He doesn't mean it for everybody, and that's crystal clear. Hand in hand with this Ben Shapiro clip, let me give you some updates. Day 22 of starvation and siege in northern Gaza. This is what's happening right now. This is what's happening. Since this morning, Israel has killed at least 45 people across Gaza, 37 in the north. This is one day. This is one day that we're talking about here, right? I could give you updates like this every day, and it'd be similar numbers every day. On the 18th day of the total siege and 22nd day without aid, Israel once again blocks food, water, and medical aid from reaching the north. Because, it's super surgical and targeted against Hamas. 15 people killed in airstrike on children and displaced families in Beit Lahia as quadcopters order residents to empty the town. The classic move, like, you must flee and go to the humanitarian zone. Oops, did we bomb you on the way to the humanitarian zone and then bomb you at the other humanitarian zone? Tee-hee-hee. Did we do that? 8 Palestinians killed as Israeli forces opened fire on people fleeing besieged Jabalia. The Indonesian hospital is now completely out of service. The complex besieged by Israeli forces. Kamal Adwan Hospital is under attack and on verge of shutting down, calling situation catastrophic. Israeli forces are burning down every school and UN shelter one by one. Yeah, that's what the good guys do, right, Ben? Dozens of dead bodies lie in the streets and remain trapped under rubble as Israel blocks and kills rescue workers. That's great. UNRWA chief Felipe Lazzarini has issued an urgent plea to pause fighting in northern Gaza to allow entry of humanitarian aid. Yeah, but you guys don't understand. This is their goal. This is their point. This is what they want. This is not like, oh man, we're slightly overreaching from what our strategy is of getting Hamas. No, this is what they want. They want the collective punishment. They want to kill the civilians. They want to starve people. We're so far into this thing, you'd have to have a cinder block where your brain is supposed to be in order to come to the conclusion that, like, bro, maybe they were a little overzealous, but they were just trying to defend themselves. So here, let me show you some of the video coming out of there.
In northern Gaza, possibilities are outweighed by probabilities. The hope of a ceasefire is gone. Escaping unscathed is unlikely, but another Israeli attack.
You're watching a modern-day Trail of Tears. That's what you're watching on the screen right now.
More death and destruction. For most Palestinians, these have become certainties. A drone above Beit Lahia issues a warning in Arabic. The Israeli army is coming to bomb the area. Shortly afterward...
Now, by the way, Ben would use that fact as an argument as to why the Israeli army is so moral. Bro, they announced they were going to bomb, so obviously they're being super moral, right? That's what that is. No other army would do such a moral thing and warn everybody in advance. They still use arguments like this. They still say things like this. I know, it defies all reason, but this is where they're at. They have no actual defenses for what's going on here.
An airstrike. A man runs to help only to find members of his own family among the dead. Israel has
Ben Shapiro celebrates this. His words. He lauds it and celebrates it. He loves this.
Decimated the healthcare system in Gaza. The UN says every hospital has been affected and not one remains fully functional.
Everything in northern Gaza is being targeted. Schools are being targeted. A lot of people are arrested. Men and women are arrested. Hospitals are being targeted. A genocide is taking place over there, and people are forced to leave northern Gaza.
Surround and starve, threaten and slaughter. Israel's brutal offensive has taken on a familiar rhythm, and Palestinians cannot get away. Mauled and mutilated day after day. Most able to do little more than film the mass murder of their own people. Zain Basravi, Al Jazeera.
That's what he likes. He likes this. You know what else he likes? He likes this. Ready? So on October 21st, the IDF released this statement. Tonight, I'm going to declassify intelligence on a site that we did not strike, where Hezbollah has millions of dollars in gold and cash in Hassan Nasrallah's bunker. Where's the bunker located? Directly under Al-Sahel Hospital in the heart of Beirut. So do you understand what's happening here? This is what they did early on in Gaza. I forget which was it, Al-Shifa, Al-Ali Hospital, one of the hospitals, they were like, bro, there's a Hamas command and control center underneath. What's our evidence for that? Look at this cartoon image we just made that looks like a fucking Bugs Bunny thing. See, bro, there's a Hamas command and control center underneath. Then they used that propaganda to then go and attack the hospital. Right? And then they went in, pretended they found a Hamas command and control center. They didn't. Even the U.S. had to admit, it wasn't a command and control center. It was a Hamas node. They used the word node. In other words, there were like 3 guns that the IDF pretended to find that were Hamas's, but it was really theirs. Look, guns by an MRI machine. So it's the worst wartime propaganda I've ever seen in my life. This is what Israel, oh my God, bro, they're under the schools. They're under the hospitals. They're under the UN buildings, bro. Bro, I'm not just saying that so that I can attack these civilian centers because I want to attack the civilian centers. I'm saying it because that's where Hamas is, bro. Really weird. You got 90% civilian casualties, almost like you're trying to kill overwhelmingly civilians. So they did that, and then they attacked, right? As Adam Johnson points out, that's what's going on here, but in Lebanon. A year ago, the IDF destroyed his Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, killing hundreds because they claimed underneath it was a Hamas Bond villain lair. That turned out, of course, to be completely false. Now they're making identical claims about a hospital in Beirut they plan on destroying. Ben Shapiro supports this. Ben Shapiro loves this. He lauds this. He celebrates this. I think Ben Shapiro even knows that this line of bullshit from the IDF is indeed bullshit. He knows this. Hezbollah is under every rock, bro. Hamas is under every rock, bro. We're being super defensive by carpet bombing the toddlers, bro. He knows that's not true. He doesn't care because he doesn't view them as human. He doesn't view them as human. By the way, has he said a single word against what we now know is happening, which is the resettling of Gaza, which I said was going to happen early on, and I was called a conspiracy theorist. Now it turns out I'm 100% right. Has he said a single word against that? Of course he hasn't. He supports it. He supports it. By the way, here's the video they released to prove that under the Al-Shifa hospital in Gaza, it's a Hamas command and control center. This is what it looked like. Ready? Look at this. Bro, look at this. They didn't completely and utterly make this up. This is actually exactly what's under the hospital. Oh, would you look at that? It's not. It's made up. Amazing. Now, again, same freaking thing, but this time for Lebanon. Here.
Beds and infrastructure for long stays, and the ability to direct combat from underground. Hezbollah built this bunker directly underneath this hospital. There are hundreds of millions of dollars in cash and gold inside the bunker right now.
By the way, credit to the BBC. They decided to go to the hospital, which is very brave because at any moment Israel could just bomb the shit out of it, right? And they probably will, right? They decided to go to the hospital and check the basement, and they're like, there's nothing here. It's just not true. So, guys, here's the thing. At least back in the day, there at least had to be something seemingly plausible in your wartime propaganda. Israel feels invincible because they have the backing of U.S. Money and U.S. weapons. They feel like we can get away with whatever the fuck we want to get away with. We're immune. Like, there's never going to be any justice for us. So since that's the case, they're not even trying. They will just tell the most bold, brazen lies you've ever heard in your life and then castigate you if you don't believe it, right? And look, committing a genocide is abysmal. But imagine the committing a genocide part with endless, over-the-top, insane, freakish lies, right? It somehow makes it even more gross. I mean, committing a genocide is a war crime and should get you locked up no matter what. But if you're more direct about it, there's something about that that's like, these guys are evil, but they know they're evil. And they're not trying to play hide the ball in any way, shape, or form. But Israel mixes their genocide with the most preposterous, over-the-top, idiotic lies of all time. And it's almost like, I think, did they even expect us to believe this? They can, right? They can at this late date. But they do. And you know what? Again, to come to the main point, Ben Shapiro lauds this and celebrates this. He loves this because he's a despicable, repulsive, genocidal cretin that nobody should ever take seriously on anything ever again. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.